Victoria. Hello. Hello, Chris. Hello, Paulette. Welcome to live chat. Everyone's joining in. Awesome, awesome. So how is everybody today? I am doing pretty good. I just want to show. So, my new book, if you guys haven't seen it yet, I just released it last month. And it's amazing. I love it printed. It looks so good. So what do you guys want to talk about? I think my cat is walking around somewhere. Hello, Caroline. Hello, Lydia. Hello. Hello, everybody. Ooh, veggie balls in the dehydrator right now. That's pretty awesome. Those are really, really, really good. Let's see. There are so many recipes in here, guys. So many. It's hard to find everything. Here we go. Veggie balls. Whoop. So delicious. So delicious. Okay, let's see. Breast cancer survivor. I don't know where to begin in my health journey. Any tips? I would highly recommend reading the 80-10-10 diet by Dr. Doug Graham, reading Proteinaholic by Dr. Garth Davis, reading How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger. Start reading a lot of books and start eating a whole lot of fruit and vegetables. Get rid of your animal products, get rid of them. And yeah, start eating more fruits and vegetables and load up and find recipes online and just start your journey, because it starts with today and you can get there. Where can we buy your book? Okay, the printed ones are on Amazon. I have the link in the description of this live video. You guys can go down there and click it, or you can go on Amazon and grab the print copies. Just search for Melissa Raimondi. That's my name. Search that on Amazon and all of my books should come up. But if you want the ebook version, which is less expensive, you can find that in the description below. Hello, hello. Oh, I'm so happy to see everybody here. Oh, I'm so blessed to be able to be an inspiration for you guys. I love it. I love to be here, and I'm gonna do more YouTube lives because I really like interacting with you guys this way. It's really cool. Finally vegan. Nice, awesome, good job, Paulette. It is a daily goal it is a daily thing that we have to strive to, and we have to avoid using the word transition, because transition can keep you in transition forever. So I'm glad you have goals. That's really, really cool. Oh, you enjoyed the recipes for Thanksgiving and you stayed raw. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, that's why I made my winter book, and I don't have one here with me. But the winter recipe book has all my holiday, Thanksgiving kind of style stuff in there. And yeah, what did you make for Thanksgiving? Aw, my book's always on your countertop. That's awesome. My cat's making a lot of noise, so if he meows. Chai, come say hi. Come on. Come say hi. On Chai. There, he said hi to you guys. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Annette. What did I have for breakfast? Today I had very simple, same thing I have almost every single day. 4 bananas, 4 dates, a bunch of ice, and some strawberries, because I had some strawberries in my fridge. But that's typically what I have almost every day for breakfast. But I go through phases. Sometimes I'll do smoothies for like weeks, and then sometimes I want to do fruit bowls. So I'll do just like chopped up pineapple, mangoes, bananas, berries. Sometimes I'll make a berry basil drizzle, which recipe in here, and just put it on top, kind of like a fruit salad. It really just depends. But lately, because I've been so busy with photography work, I haven't really had enough time to kind of stay in the kitchen and make something really nice for breakfast. So super easy just to throw some bananas and dates in a blender and have that. How long will the sun-dried tomato dressing last in the fridge? Unfortunately, I don't know, because every time I make it, I eat the entire thing. So I don't really know exactly when it should be good for, but most of the no-fat dressings only last a day or two because they start to separate, because there's no oil kind of emulsifying or blend or holding it all together. So those no-fat recipes aren't always the greatest ones to keep, but you can certainly try. I'm sure it might last a little longer. Like all the herbs in there, it's not going to go moldy. It's just going to separate and might taste a little different than when you first make it. But 2-3 days, I'd say. I always make enough just for one meal, so. Can I talk about recovering from addiction, food addiction? Yes, I can. I have serious issues with food addiction, or had, anyways. This is a loaded question because there's so much to do with food addiction, and it really is all in your mind. It really is a mental game, and you have to work at it daily. You have to train yourself, because we tell ourselves a lie over and over and over and over and over and over again, and we believe it is truth, kind of like animal products make you strong. I mean, we've been told our whole lives we need animal products for protein, and we believe it is truth, but it actually isn't true, and it takes a while for us to get out of that. And for Vlogmas, you guys are going to have such a great Christmas gift from me. I have a video a day for the entire month of December, but one of those videos is going to be about when you're having those addictive cravings and you have to have something. There's 3 things that you can do. First, ask yourself if you're hungry, because most addictions, most cravings are the need for something. And if you're hungry, you're just going to want to eat anything. So if you're hungry, go eat some fruit. Grab a mango, grab a banana. Don't even think about it. Just go grab it. Hold it, peel it, and then eat it. And pretty soon it'll become routine. Once you feel like you get that nagging stress, then you're going to ask yourself if you're hungry. The second one is ask yourself if you're stressed out. If you're stressed out and craving, you have to find ways to de-stress. So do yoga, go work out, go meditate, do something that's going to calm you down, because a lot of people will stress eat, and that is part of the addiction. And then the third would be, are you unfulfilled? And this is a big one that a lot of people don't really realize. This is where the boredom, the eating just because it tastes good, or you're filling a void. So you're filling this void in your body that you're not filling with anything else. So I recommend, if you are having a craving and you look inside yourself and say, why am I craving? Am I bored? Do I need to do something? Go work out, go create, go draw, go paint, go sew, go do something creative and fulfill yourself that way. And if it could be 2 things. It could be hungry and stressed. So eat and go de-stress. If you're hungry and unfulfilled, go eat fruit and then go fulfill yourself. So this can actually help to break the addiction cycle. But and I'll just add this because I want to get to the rest of the questions. But for addiction, for me, I can't do cooked food. Like it's not that I'm against people doing cooked vegan, low oil. I mean, you can if you want to, but for me, I can't. I treat cooked food the way a recovering alcoholic treats alcohol. I can't do it. There's no recovering alcoholic that goes out on a Friday night and says, oh, I'll just have 1 shot. I can't do it, because if I do 1 small sweet potato in a big salad, the next day it's 3 sweet potatoes with a small salad, and the next day it's all sweet potatoes and no salad, and the salad's rotting in the fridge. That's my thing, and I know that about myself, so that's why I choose raw, because I can't go there. So I do treat it like recovering alcoholic. I hope that answers your question. Is it bad to blend hemp seeds with banana smoothies? What's your opinion on green smoothies? I don't mix any fat with my smoothies. The only seed that I think is okay, this is just my opinion too. The only seed that I think is okay in a smoothie would be chia, and only like 1 or 2 teaspoons. Like, you don't need a lot. Because chia is very high fiber, it doesn't necessarily have that insulin resistance factor happening. But if you're gonna do green smoothies, cool with green smoothies. I don't like green smoothies. I prefer to have savory salads. But if you like green smoothies, go for it. You can always need more greens. Let's see here. The books. Can you, Naisha, can you send me a message via Instagram? Send me a message to Raw Food Romance, and I will send you those books, because I'll forget. So please send me a message on Instagram, and I'll be able to get to you. Marcella, thank you. I'm so glad you like my videos. Let's see here. I know you talk about hydration a lot. I have recently paid attention to that. Could you talk about it, please? I've noticed immense difference as far as energy goes. Yes. Hydration is huge. Hydration is probably the #1 reason why I choose to do raw vegan, because there's something magical in fruits and vegetables. They did a study where they had 2 groups of people. One group of people ate a cucumber, and the other group of people drank the same amount of water that was in the cucumber. And Chai, that's rude. Hey, come here. Sorry, guys. So yeah, this group had the cucumber, and the other group had the water. So the group that had the cucumber was twice as hydrated as the group that had the water, whereas it was the same amount of H2O, but again, they're more hydrated. So there is something special to be said about fruits and vegetables and their water content. The water is so essential to everything in your body, and water is essential for enzyme activity. So if you want to like have, you know, proper body functions, which are basically triggered by all enzymes. Enzymes are life, and you know, the thing that makes everything work is enzymes. We have like thousands of them in our bodies, and water activates them. That's why when you have dried nuts and seeds, they'll last forever on the shelf. But as soon as you add water to them, after a couple days, they start to mold because the enzymes are active and it starts to break them down. So that's why we recommend you always soak your nuts and seeds and things like that to activate the life force in them. So water is extremely important. And if you're eating a lot of things like breads, crackers, cookies, dehydrated foods, like fully dehydrated crackers and banana chips and stuff like that, it can dehydrate you from the inside because the body has to find that water to digest that food. So it's kind of like stealing it from your colon and your cells and everywhere else. Whereas if you're eating the hydration with your food, it's easy to digest and you're not in a water deficit. So that's very, very, very important. And yes, it's going to increase your energy. It's going to make you feel so much better. Yeah, so let me see if I can find where I was. Oh, yeah. Chai Chai, they say hi. He's so cute. He's 16. I've had him since 2002. So he's getting up there in age. I don't want him to go. I love him so much. He's been with me through so many things and life changes. And I love that cat so much. Chai Chai. He was a rescue. And I was the 3rd person to have him in my life by the time he was 3 months old. Nobody wanted him, and somebody said, oh, they have this cat that no one wants, and I'm like, I'll take him. So I have Chai Chai. Chai Chai. Yeah, he's busy. So let's see. How long, you say, does skin start healing or notice a difference from dryness, acne after going raw? Okay, so for skin, I had horrible acne, most of you know. I mean, it's not as bad as some people have it, but for me, it was really bad. And sometimes I get like really, really red patches. I still have some scars from that acne, which I deal with. I mean, they're there as a reminder of what I used to do and where I don't want to be anymore in my life. But after I went raw, I did experience a couple breakouts, like not a lot of breakouts, just, you know, a few here and there. And then sometimes I'd get really, really, really red, itchy. And I think it was just the detox effect of my body dealing with, you know, releasing. And while my liver was like backed up from all the junk that I used to eat, it was coming out my skin. So as I was healing, it did get better and better as I went, but there were still days where I'd break out a lot. And I have a problem with touching my face, which actually went away when I went raw because I had severe anxiety. I still have a little bit of anxiety. It's more like high functioning anxiety where I overthink things way too much, and it's more of like trying to be more centered, but it's improved dramatically since I went raw. But when I went raw, I noticed that my anxiety level decreased dramatically, and I was no longer like sitting at my computer desk touching my face. So that went down, which helped to deal with the healing of my skin. I would say it took about 4.5 to 5 months before I felt comfortable not wearing makeup, before I felt comfortable in my own skin, before it started to really heal, was around the 4.5 to 5 month mark. But some people can heal in like 3 weeks. Other people can take about a year. So it really depends on your body and how strict you are with making sure you don't eat those bad foods and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was definitely, that was one of my favorite things about going raw, was healing up that acne that I had for like decade and a bit. Like it was just horrible. Ooh, you made a YouTube video to share my stuffing, hazelnut green beans, and the pumpkin pie. I'm gonna go check that out. I'm gonna write that down. So I can go watch it. Ah, that's awesome. And yes, love cats, love cats. Let's see. Love the new book. Love all your dips, dressings, and sauces are in one place. Very unique, and the photos are great. Thank you. I love my stuff. You guys, if the new people who are here can see, these are all of my, basically all of my recipes are in here. Only about 20 are older ones. The other 80 or so are brand new. But all the photography was done by me. All the design work was done by me. Everything was done by me. So it's kind of like my little baby. It's totally a work of art. And I'm so impressed with how Amazon prints it. I just wanted to also say that I kind of don't have any say over what the price is of this book on Amazon. Unfortunately, they gave me a base price that I could not go lower. So I couldn't price it any lower, and I really don't make a lot of money off the ones on Amazon. So I just like that it's cool. I mean, it's a book. I love it. So yeah, even though it's expensive, I mean, it is what it is, right? Let's see here. Oh, Christina, it's okay. This is going to be actually recorded and put on YouTube, so if you guys miss it, you can always watch it again later. You're the same way with cooked food, but you feel so much better that you cut out grains. Yeah, grains are another one that I mean, I don't think grains are human food. I believe that since we are we're not herbivores, we're frugivores. If you look on taxonomy and how we are actually classified as species on this planet, we are frugivorous primates, just like chimps and gorillas and apes. So that is our ideal diet. If you're put in a zoo and there was a species, you know, more intelligent than us that put us in a zoo, they would feed us fruits and greens and small amount of nuts and seeds and insects. That's what we'd eat because that's what our species specific diet is. So when people say they're herbivore, they're referring to, like, the herbivores of this earth are like cows and horses and donkeys and giraffes, those ones that eat like grasses, and we don't eat that. We eat fruit and greens and stuff. So Yeah, greens. I'm not a huge fan of greens. I know some people still eat them, and if you do, that's cool. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of green or grains. Thanks for sharing about food addiction. Your videos about this topic helped me so much. I'm glad. I'm so happy that that helped you. Um, Aw, thank you. Yeah, I really like to share about the psychological aspect of changing over, and I know not a lot of people share that kind of stuff, but I really like that psychological, like, mind trick, changing the way you view things when it comes to a healthy lifestyle, because most people, they try, but they just can't get past their own mindset. And I was actually this morning while I was doing my hair, I was listening to a Tony Robbins thing, and he was talking about your internal thermostat. And say you have a thermostat in your house set to 65 degrees. If the temperature goes below that, the furnace kicks in and it moves it back up. But if it goes beyond that, the AC kicks in and it brings it back. So we have this comfort zone in our own body, our comfort zone with the foods we like, the comfort zone of easy, convenient, and all of these justifications that we use. If we, start to gain weight or feel crappy, we start to clean up our diet a bit and it goes back to this comfort zone. But the same thing happens on the opposite side. If we start to lose weight and we start to get healthy, we almost self-sabotage so that we can go back to this comfort zone. And that's what happens to a lot of people. They self-sabotage to go back to their comfort. So the key is to change your comfort zone. Change what's normal in your life to this, I guess it would be this way, to this new space, so that when you do lose weight, that's your new comfort zone. But it takes daily affirmations of telling yourself, today I'm a raw vegan, today I'm healthy, today I make good choices. Stand in the mirror in big, huge, gigantic power poses and say, I'm a vegan and I am raw and this is my choice for today. And really empower yourself, because you're the only one that really makes the change, right? You empower yourself, and then you can go about your day a lot easier than if you didn't do that. So it really is a daily thing. Hello, everybody. When did you first start seeing results in your body changing once going raw, like losing weight? I know you said it was just a side effect, and you noticed other things at first. Yeah, for the weight loss, I lost the weight. I lost 70 pounds in 14 months, give or take. I like to say 14 months because I think that's about the time that it was. So after 14 months, I went from 190 pounds, and that was the heaviest that I actually weighed myself. I probably weighed more, but I never weighed myself, so I don't know. But 190 was the most that I weighed. And right now I'm 120. So yeah, 70 pounds in 14 months. And when I first started, I was doing it for health because I felt like crap and my joints hurt like crazy, like they were on fire. My sugar was way out of balance. Like I would crash and crash and highs like crazy. I craved everything under the sun and I ate everything under the sun. My headaches all the time, and yeah, I was sick like once every 2 months, at least, sick with a flu or a bladder infection or a yeast infection or something. So yeah, I was doing it for health. And of course I knew in the back of my mind was like, I'll probably lose weight because I'm eating healthy, obviously. And I did start to lose weight, but it was very slow and it was very gradual. I think over that time, I averaged about 1 pound a week. Only based on what I remember. I never weighed myself right near the beginning. It was maybe once a month or so I would weigh just to see how I was going, but it didn't move very much. It was like 5 pounds. So to me, it wasn't really that big of a deal. I just was happy I wasn't gaining any weight eating this way. It was really solidifying my, okay, it's okay to eat 2,100 calories, right? Chai. So yeah, so for the first little bit, it was very slow. And then around the 7 or 8 month mark, I'm just guessing, this was about when my hormones, my female cycle was really, really regular. Like it got better every month. But around the 7 or 8 month mark was when it was like, finally, this is like a good space. That is about when I was on a plateau for about 2 months. And I didn't lose any weight. My body didn't change at all. I didn't change my I don't really exercise for the entire time. I'd exercise like once in a while. I'd go for like a week, and then I wouldn't go for like a month. And then I'd go for a long run, or I'd run a half marathon, and then I wouldn't do anything for 6 months. So I was really like, or 6 weeks. I was really sporadic with my exercise. I didn't do anything regular. Except I did sometimes have weights at the couch, and I would like lift weights while I watched TV, but it wasn't really that much. It was more of a consistent thing. If I did it maybe once or twice a week, and only for like 5 or 10 minutes. Like, it really wasn't a lot. But so yeah, it was very slow and gradual, and I think that my skin has thanked me for the slow weight loss, because yeah, I'm gonna be 38 on Sunday, and my skin isn't that of a 20-year-old, but it's way better than it could have been if I lost my weight really quickly. So yeah, you know, it really is a journey, and if you want to be healthy, this is just something that's going to happen for the rest of your life. So, Chai, he's trying to get my attention. Chai, come here. All right, let's see here. How do you get over the 3 to 4 week hump of food addiction? I've never made it past the 3 to 4 weeks, and the cravings get so intense. That one we would have to really go in and see like what you're eating on a regular basis, what's going through your mind, like what is the trigger that makes you fall off, like what is it about it, we have to figure out why you're having the cravings. Are you not eating enough? Are you way too stressed out? Is it family? Is it, you know, and you have to push through it, because the only way to change is to change. So you have to keep going. And if you fall off, just get right back on and start the next 3 to 4 weeks. And then in 8 weeks, you've only had 1 day slip up, which is not bad, actually, which is really good. So just keep going, keep telling yourself that you can get there. I have a lot of discipline, and I just love my body is responding to healthy foods. I am in the process of becoming raw vegan. So what I do eat raw from Monday to Friday, and eat cooked foods all Saturday and Sunday. That's pretty good. You're getting there. You're moving forward. And that's the thing. We all are moving forward. We're all changing our lives, and we're all getting better. And, you know, that's the whole point, is to get better and to do better than you did the day before. And obviously, if the cooked foods make you feel crappy, then, you know, you're going to cut them out. But as long as you're okay, then that's great. Thanks for all your great advice. How do you maintain eating raw in the winter months? I find I crave warmer foods during the winter. Okay, so for the winter, I do have a video that's coming out probably, I'm thinking on the 5th or 6th. I'm not sure when I'm going to release it yet, but it's part of Vlogmas. It's a 90-minute talk that I did at a health food store that I recorded, and I demo my chili in that video as well. So this video talks about being raw in the winter, dealing with the cold climate, and dealing with family stuff. Like, you know, we're going through Thanksgiving and Christmas and all this kind of stuff. So I deal with that as well in that video. So it's an hour and a half long. I know it's a long one, but I think people might benefit from it. But right now, I'll give you a couple tips for winter. Number 1, make sure you eat. Because if you're not eating enough food, you're not giving your body enough gasoline to burn for energy. So the first 2 things that go when you cut your calories are your metabolism and your hormones. So that's why girls lose their period and then they get freezing cold, because they're just not eating enough food for their body to burn. So the more food you eat, the more you burn, and the easier it is for you to feel a lot warmer. The second tip would be to add more spices to your meals. Add some cayenne, some peppers, some ginger, turmeric, those kinds of things. Rosemary's a really good one that stimulates circulation to get the blood moving. That's going to really help as well. And that's interesting that all of these like holiday favorites have things like rosemary, thyme, you know, basil. Like some of these herbs are actually stimulating to the circulation, and they warm us up. Cinnamon, nutmeg, cardamom, all of those, the holiday spices also warm you up. So it's interesting that we as a society have those flavors during the winter months to help us warm up. Naturally, we've just kind of being drawn to it, but we put it in crappy foods. So now you can put it in healthy food to help with that warmth. The third tip, don't eat things right out of the fridge. It's a really, really, really big tip, and it helps a lot. Trust me. The only things that I keep in my fridge, as you guys can see, I have my mangoes there. I've got a lot more on my counter, but you can't see it. But I keep my fruit, all of my fruit except my berries and grapes, in the fridge. Everything else is on my counter. So berries and grapes in the fridge, fruit on the counter, bananas, mangoes, pineapples, peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, everything is on my counter. I don't keep it in the fridge. I go through it so fast that I don't need to keep it in the fridge, but because it's on the counter, it's all room temperature. So it's really easy to have a nice room temperature salad, and you're not pulling freezing cold cucumber and freezing cold tomatoes and freezing cold lettuce out of the fridge to make a freezing cold salad when it's cold outside, and then you just feel cold inside. So it's better to have a nice warm room temperature salad. And yeah, the only veggies that I really keep in the fridge are like celery, because it wilts pretty fast, and lettuces, maybe some green onions. But even then, when I take the lettuce out, I just soak it in warm water just while I'm washing it, and that helps to bring the temperature back to a more room temperature. And then I make my nice little room temperature salad with a room temperature dressing, and I don't feel freezing cold after. And the last tip right now that I'll give you would be to use your Vitamix or your dehydrator to warm stuff up, because the magic temperature is 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything above 115 is going to be not considered raw. So you want to go below 115 and just set your dehydrator or use your Vitamix, because the blender, the speed of the blades actually warms stuff up. So you can have warm soups, you can make marinara, any of that kind of good stuff, chili. And then you can use your dehydrator to warm up plates, warm up, you know, if you make a soup earlier, you can put it in the dehydrator and warm it up. It doesn't get like hot, it just gets, you know, a little beyond room temperature, basically a hot sunny day. So you can have stuff in the winter time to help with that. All right. Can you give advice on affordable blender for sauces and such? A Vitamix is too expensive. I would say if I had to pick one other than my Vitamix, maybe a Blendtec would be my second choice. Third choice would maybe be a Ninja. The only problem is I don't know, the Ninja doesn't actually warm stuff up. The Ninja blades are made so they don't heat things. So I remember when I was in Costa Rica with Jack from Raw Tropical Living, you guys follow him too if you don't, when I was staying with him in Costa Rica, he had a Ninja, and we tried making the chili sauce in it, and it blended and blended and blended, and it didn't warm up. So we had to use his little NutriBullet to blend it, but the NutriBullet doesn't really blend everything really well. Like I have a NutriBullet, but I only take it traveling, and I don't really like the dressings that come from it, because it's kind of like the dates are still chunky. Sometimes it doesn't blend all the hot peppers, and you get a chunk of hot pepper. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, the Vitamix is such a good investment. I know you can't afford it, but maybe look online in some like buy and sell groups. Maybe somebody has a used one that you could get for cheaper, because I've had mine for almost 10 years and it's never done anything. Like, they're pretty good for quality. But yeah, I would definitely recommend Vitamix. But yeah, Blendtec or even a Ninja, if you don't mind not being able to warm stuff up. The Ninja's pretty good too. Let's see here. I told you before that I can't eat fructose or sorbitol. I really don't know what to eat anymore. My stomach just always hurts. This one is interesting. There are some fruits that are more in glucose, and people who have a sensitivity to fructose can still have the glucose ones. And it really depends on why your stomach hurts. Like, is it the unripeness of the fruit, or is it actually you have that genetic thing that you can't digest the fructose properly? Glucose would be your better option. Sorbitol I don't eat. Sorbitol is a sugar alcohol and it causes bloating and gas. So obviously that would be a no because it does for everybody. It's a sugar alcohol. It causes bloating and gas when consumed in higher amounts. But fructose, yeah, fructose also, most fructose is processed too, unless you're getting it in fruit. But yeah, I don't know. I would really have to talk more with you more one-on-one to really understand what it is that's causing that. Unfortunately, stick with low glycemic fruits and lots of greens, lots of non-sweet fruits like tomatoes and cucumbers. You're gonna have to eat a lot though because you can't get all of those calories, and that does really suck. I hope you can figure it out. When adding some chia seeds to green smoothies, 6 bananas, green lettuce, how much chia seeds should I add? Half teaspoon, or you could probably do 1 to 2 teaspoons, or even a tablespoon maybe. I really only do, if I'm gonna put chia in a smoothie. I don't put it in a smoothie. I put it in like the chia pudding. I only use like 2 teaspoons, just for the omega-3. But I really don't need it with fruit. But since you're putting lettuce in there, you can use 1 or 2 teaspoons. You really don't need a lot. And just watch your symptoms too. If you feel like after you've had the smoothie, if you get lethargic or cravings or low energy, then maybe try doing it without the chia. It just depends. If you feel fine, then that's great. If not, just watch your symptoms. Just came to your stream, and speaking of 20-year-old, I'm 21 and currently working on going vegan. I hope to achieve this by New Year's since I am cutting out so much for the better. That's really good! Congratulations on making a compassionate choice. That's awesome. Not only for you, but for the animals on the planet. That's beautiful. I'm glad that you're doing that. Congratulations. Thanks, guys. I love you guys all so much. Okay, let me see here. I just subscribed. I went raw for more than 100 days. Wow, that's awesome. But went back to cooked food for my wedding. Feel better eating raw, so now I'm back to raw. But I love recipes, but I cook. Any suggestions? But I have recipes, but it cook. Any suggestions? Do you mean, you may need to clarify that sentence. Do you mean that you like to cook and you want to have cooked food? If you do want to have cooked food, like again, I'm not saying it's poison or toxic or whatever. I feel better eating raw, so that's why I choose only raw. I feel the best. Plus, I have an addiction to cooked food, so I can't let it in my life. These are my reasons. But if you want to include cooked food into your diet, I recommend that your bowl or plate is over 50% of the calories are raw. So when you look at, like, if you have a little sweet potato, you know, 75% of your bowl should be salad. If you're having a little tiny cup of rice, everything else should be lettuce or greens or salad or something. And what you make that's cooked should be oil and salt free. No oil, no salt. It's very easy to use too much oil, and that causes insulin resistance, which you don't want, which causes cravings, lethargy, and eventually diabetes. So you don't want to use oils. I consider oils a processed food. Don't eat them. They don't belong in my life, and they never will. So yeah. So if you do like to cook, I mean, I cook for my boyfriend, and I don't really mind because I always have something to eat, like cherry tomatoes, or I make my salad first and I'll eat that while I'm making his food, and it really doesn't bother me anymore because I've designated his stuff as his stuff. Like if I'm making something for him, I'm not going to eat it. And again, for Vlogmas, I have this new video coming out about, yes, Chai. I have this new video coming out, sorry guys, I'm distracted, about when you go to work and you put your food in the fridge, you don't go at lunchtime and eat John's stuff and Mary's stuff and Susie's stuff. You eat your stuff because that's your stuff. You know not to touch their food, no matter what it is. If it was vegan or whatever, you don't touch their food. That's how I look at my boyfriend's stuff. If there's, you know, buns for his vegan burgers that I make him, or, you know, mayo in the vegan mayo in the fridge, like there's vegan stuff in the fridge for him, but I don't eat it because I've designated it in my mind that it's for him, and I don't eat it. So that's just another tip for you guys. Pad Thai recipe is perfect for colder days. It is definitely. Pad Thai is probably one of my favorite things to make, for sure. Um, Raw mushroom soup with thyme. Yep, that's a good one too. Oh man, you guys are making me hungry. And yes, I offer one-on-one coaching. You can go to my e-store, which is in the description below. There, I put two links. One, or no, I just put one link to my e-store. And in the e-store, I have my coaching packages. I do 1 hour, 5 hour, and 10 hour. So you can get that once you pay for the session. You download the coaching forms, fill those out, email them to me, and then we can set up a time. I do coaching Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So those are my times. I can make exceptions here and there depending on my schedule, but those are my coaching times. So yes, I do offer one-on-one coaching. Is coffee really that bad? Even 1 cup a day? I personally think coffee is that bad. I consider coffee a legal drug, and I used to drink 2 energy drinks a day, and I know energy drinks are worse than coffee, but I used to also drink coffee. And I had so much caffeine running through my system that I used to wake up every night at about 3 o'clock in the morning with heart palpitations so fast that I felt like I was having a heart attack. Every morning. Every morning. And it came to the point right before I went raw that I hated to go to bed because I would get these symptoms, and I dreaded going to sleep because I knew I was going to wake up with this heart thing. And that's one of the things that pushed me to change, was I really needed to clean myself up because this could not go on. I was eventually one day going to have a heart attack, either from the energy drinks or from the junk I was eating. So I had to change. But coffee, the thing is too, is that people like to cherry pick studies. They'll pick a study that says coffee's good for you, there's antioxidants in it, but they forget all the bad stuff that coffee does. Like, it leaches minerals from your bones, it's very acidic. When you drink coffee, it's actually like drinking liquid stress because your body reacts to it the same way. It's like drinking liquid cortisol, which breaks down your muscle mass into sugar, and that's stored as fat. So, I mean, yes, people lose weight when they just drink coffee, but it's because they're just drinking coffee. They're not really eating anything else. So if you want to keep drinking coffee, I would say the best form would be an espresso, made the old school Italian way. But otherwise, yeah, no coffee. No coffee for me. Still need to invest for a dehydrator. I highly recommend Excalibur's. I recently purchased a new Excalibur. I went through 2 cheap dehydrators. They were the Salton brand, and I didn't like them because they stacked. Now, when they stack, you only have like an inch of space, so you can really only put like, I don't know, banana chips or sun-dried tomatoes or whatever, like thin things. You can't do like, you know, stuffed mushrooms and like cool stuff in your dehydrator because the trays are so small and they stack, so you don't have room. The only place I had room was at the very top because it had a dome kind of at the top, so I could put a couple things up there that were taller. But really, I mean, it kind of sucked. And plus, since they stack, the fan was at the bottom spinning the air, so there was a hole in the middle of each tray. So you can't make like a nice big wrap because there's a hole in the center. So I really didn't like those dehydrators. They worked for what I needed them to. Like, sometimes I would put the bowl on the top and then just kind of set the lid on top of my bowl and it just kind of warmed it up there, but it really wasn't a great thing. And then plus all of the food particles and liquids and everything would drip down and then would get in the fan, then it would be a headache to clean. So really, just because they're inexpensive, yeah, they make it a little easier because at least you have a dehydrator, but honestly, the investment in a tray, like, they pull out, so you can pull out 5 trays and put a whole bowl of chili in. Or, you know, the fan's at the back, so food particles don't get into the fan. There's a timer on it, there's like temperatures on it, and mine's pretty, it's pink. So, yes, I bought the pink one. Yeah, so I would definitely do the dehydrator. I think mine, the pink 9 tray, was like 600 or 5. I think I got it on sale for like 500 or something. But yeah, it's definitely worth the investment if you're going to use the dehydrator. I use my dehydrator probably about 2 or 3 times a week, mostly just to warm stuff up. Or lately I've been making a little more wraps. I'm going to do a recipe video on my taco wraps for you guys for this month. So yeah, watch for that. let's see. Yeah, Vitamix refurbished. You can get them refurbished because they're really, really sturdy machines. They last a long time. They've been around for decades. They're probably the best dehydrator. Let's see, what else do we have? Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm so happy to be here to have this YouTube live. And again, I want to do more. Let's see here. And yes, this video will be uploaded to YouTube when it's done, so you can watch the rest for sure. Let's see. Yeah, refurbished Vitamix. Those aren't as expensive, so you can find those definitely. Or in the buy and sell groups. Like on Facebook, you can find some in your city, Kijiji, Craigslist, whatever. You can find some good stuff on there. Had an extreme reaction on my face after going raw. I was vegan for 3 years. Spent 2 months transitioning, and the rash, really bad acne, came up after 1 month. This could be detox reaction. It depends on what you were eating before. If you were doing junk food vegan, then this definitely could have been a detox reaction. Also, depends on what you were eating as a raw vegan. If you're eating, I know some people, if they're eating lots of conventional produce, I eat a lot of conventional produce, but I don't react to it. But some people do. And if you are eating a fair amount of produce, obviously if you're raw, you're eating a lot of produce, sometimes the pesticides and chemicals in the raw food can actually react. I know my sister, for example, she cannot eat store-bought strawberries because she would used to get a rash all over her face. And she can eat regular wild strawberries, no problem, because it's the chemicals that they have on the strawberries. So I would recommend, if you want to try doing raw again, make sure that you stay hydrated and get enough fiber in your body through your fruits and vegetables to help pull those toxins out. And B, try to do as organic as possible, or get like a fruit and veggie wash that you can soak your fruit and veggies in to really release those pesticides, because that could also be, I mean, otherwise, yeah, it's kind of hard to, I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I can't diagnose anything, but that's just my guess. I believe I'm eating too much sodium. I've been feeling dizzy for the past week. Too much sodium. Too much sodium would definitely give you high blood pressure, so that could make you feel dizzy. But if you aren't eating enough sodium, you can feel the same way as I do if I go weeks without adding any salt. And I know there's a lot of raw vegans who are very anti-salt. I am not anti-salt. I am anti too much salt, just like fats. We need a very, 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 very small amount, and if I do use salt, it's only a couple times a week, and I only use 1/8 of a teaspoon, so it's like a pinch of salt. I don't even notice it in my dressings, but I do it because I have very low blood pressure, and if I go a couple weeks without, I get very dizzy, and if I stand up too fast, I get a flush. Even though I'm eating over 2,400 calories a day, I can still get that because you need the sodium to help with the blood balance and the fluid flow in your cells. So it's very, very important. I'm not anti-salt, but if you don't want to eat straight salt, do some celery juice, because that's a natural form of electrolytes with sodium. It's really, really good. Let's see, next up. I heard that buying a refurbished Vitamix would be a great idea. Yes, definitely good. Lissa, do you believe a person who suffers from hypothyroid and has been on medication for years can heal oneself and get off? Again, I am not a doctor. However, I have heard plenty of stories of people getting off their thyroid meds by going raw, because you're healing the body. The body's not burdened by all these animal products and junk food and all of this. Also, some foods can interact with thyroid, like there is like phytic acid on the beans, I believe, don't quote me on it, but I think that has a play in your thyroid function. That's why I sprout my beans, because it releases the phytic acid. But yeah, I have heard it happen. Definitely can. Again, you want to talk with your practitioner to wean yourself off your meds, obviously, but it is possible. And I know my mom, she used to have issues with her thyroid, and I believe I did too. I was never checked, but I think I follow in her footsteps, and she has lowered hers as well. So It's definitely, definitely possible. I mean, the human body is amazing. Our minds are so much more powerful than we think. And we have the power to heal ourselves if we believe it enough. How long will I be with us today? I don't know. I said an hour, but I'm really having a lot of fun. So I'll probably just go until there's no more questions. If you guys are cool with that. I'd love to stick around. So yeah, as long as you guys have questions, I'll stay until, I don't know. Last time I did a YouTube live was about 2 hours, so. I don't eat mushrooms, and most of the recipes I see have mushrooms. I leave them out, but any substitute. You could substitute for zucchini. That might work. Mushrooms are, they have a unique texture, and they are really good for using as like if you're using them as like a holder, kind of like the mushroom pizzas or like the stuffed mushrooms. You could always use those baby bell peppers and cut them in half so you can scoop stuff in. That would work. But in recipes, yeah, I would, because they have such a unique texture, the closest I would say would be either eggplant or zucchini. Something like a soft squash would probably be your best option for the mushrooms. But again, they have such a unique flavor as well. So like things like mushroom soup, you really can't replace it. But if they're in a recipe, you could probably use zucchini. Like even marinated mushrooms, you could probably do marinated zucchini in the same style and throw it in the dehydrator to kind of warm it and help marinate it. They'd have similar texture, but not flavor. So, I mean, if you don't eat mushrooms, that's fine. I eat a lot of them because I love them. It is difficult for me to switch to raw. When did it get easier for you? Well, this is very, very personal question as well, because it can be different for everybody. I went raw overnight, but I have known about raw since 2004. So I learned about raw, and I first went raw in 2004, but it took until 2014 for me to actually be raw and actually stick to it. So, I mean, I have experienced all kinds of diets. I went on and off raw, like, the longest I think I went was about 2 months. And then the shortest was obviously a day or a meal. But through those 10 years, I went on and off trying raw, because I always believed it was the best. But I was always doing high fat, and I was always calorie restricting during those 10 years. In 2014, when I went raw this time, I ate 2,100 to 2,300 calories a day. And I forced myself to because I knew it was better than restricting. And I ate low fat. So the combination of those two things, I believe, is what kept me raw this time. And all those other times in the past, I was basically just, yeah, high fat. I was eating a lot of fat. I was eating like 1 to 2 avocados a day, nuts as snacks, and then I would have like fruit for lunch, and then I would crash. Because the fat produces the insulin resistance, and then when you eat fruit, and then you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't eat very much fruit, when it really was the fat that you shouldn't be eating, right? The thing is that fats, they've tagged fats with radioactive material so that they can watch what it does in the human body. And I learned this from Dr. Garth Davis, the author of Proteinaholic. He was telling about how when they're tagged with a radioactive material and they go into your body uses them, right? But fat is automatically stored as fat. Like, you don't use it as energy. People think, oh, I'll have a bunch of nuts for energy. It doesn't give you energy. We get our energy from carbohydrates, from sugars. So we need to actually eat foods that will fuel us. So it's kind of like throwing, okay, say your vehicle runs on gas. We'll pretend gas is sugar. And your vehicle is made of steel and plastic. So to go on a really long car ride, you're not going to put steel and plastic into your vehicle. You're going to put gas in your vehicle to drive it. But if you're in a car accident, you're going to use steel and plastic to fix it. So in the human body, we run on sugar. That's our #1 fuel source. And if sugar was so bad, why would we have been designed to have it as our #1 fuel source? So we need to actually eat the sugar to get the energy. Nuts and seeds I only reserve to my salads, which is my building blocks, my steel and plastic for my body. My green salads, I add fats to the greens to help absorb vitamin A, vitamin K, and things like that. You don't need fat with fruit. Fruit should be your main fuel source. Just grab some fruit and eat it. You don't need to snack on nuts. And I think I completely went off topic. But yeah, so you know, it really was easier for me this time around because I was doing the low fat, high calorie raw. And I also worked with my mind. I work a lot with my mindset. I do a lot of affirmations. I do a lot of meditation with myself every single morning in the beginning. In 2014, I woke up and I said, today I am raw vegan. Today is the only day that I'm going to focus on. And this, again, I learned from AA, where they teach focus on today. Do it hour by hour, day by day. You don't need to worry about being sober for 5 years. Worry about being sober today. Worry about being raw today. Worry about being vegan today. That's all you have to worry about, because then when you wake up tomorrow, you'll do the same thing. And you'll wake up the next day and do the same thing, and eventually you're vegan for a year. So that's kind of what I did, is really definitely the motivation and speaking and immersing myself in the raw community, watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts, making sure that all the people that I follow in social media post raw things. So, you know, I don't see stuff like bacon things and all that. I mean, sometimes I see it randomly here and there, but it's not like it's a daily thing. Daily I see fruit, daily I see raw veggies, and daily that's what I see in my social media, and that's what I've immersed myself in, and I found that is a lot easier, because if you're trying to be raw and you're living in this other world of cooked food and everything, it's really difficult to stick to it. But if you can create your own world and your own bubble and live in that bubble, then it's a lot easier to stick to raw. So I hope that was good. I know I kind of went off topic on that one, but you guys like it when I talk about stuff, so I hope. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm like totally lost track of where it was. Okay, I'm on the second week. Good stuff. I'm proud of you. Keep going, keep going. Keep trying new recipes. Heart palpitations, panic attacks from the caffeine. Yes, that is, it's not good. I mean, if you guys want to read more about caffeine and really scare yourselves from caffeine, grab the Caffeine Blues. I can't remember who wrote it, but it's called Caffeine Blues. I can't get it at my library. I really want to read it. I read it a really, really long time ago, so I forget a lot of the information, but when I read it, I was scared of coffee. Again, I still drank it after, but I mean, the information's there. Am I Italian? I'm an honorary Italian. I'm not actually Italian. I am recently divorced. My husband was Italian, and that's where I have my last name. I'm actually, my ancestry is Portuguese, German, Russian, Welsh, Irish. I'm kind of a mix, but mostly Portuguese, Russian, and German. That's my heritage, but I'm an honorary Italian. I speak fluent Italian. I love Italy, so I kind of just say I'm Italian because people believe that I am. So they believed I was when I went to Italy. So yeah, if you ask if I'm Italian, yeah. Yeah, my ex-husband's family ate a lot of pasta. It was pasta, processed meats like crazy, lots of processed cheese. And, you know, I would say I would be raw, and I'm not eating that kind of stuff. And, you know, I would have like this little iceberg salad lettuce there at their house. And when I went raw in 2014, I decided that I was going to be solid on it. But one of the days that I went over there, I think I wasn't able to eat before I went for some reason, so I thought I'm just going to take my salad over there, and it was the best decision I ever made, and you guys should do this too. If you're going to like a family, someone's house or whatever, and they're eating, take your food with you. So I had this like huge salad, like it was bigger than I normally eat because I made extra in case they wanted some, and I ate I kind of forced myself to eat the whole thing in front of them, but after I ate the entire thing in front of them, they kind of sat back and they were like, wow, she eats a lot of food. Because the thing is that your family doesn't see what you're eating every day. Like, they're not there to watch you. And when you go to their house and you don't eat, or you eat just a little bit of their food and you say no to everything, they get worried about you. And it's okay. They love you and they're worried about you. They think you're starving. But if you start to eat in front of them, it teaches them that you are taking care of yourself. You're eating more veggies than they probably do in a month. So, you know, it's better to eat in front of them so that they can see that and they can actually see that you're taking care of yourself instead of just you saying, "Oh, I ate before," because they don't know if you did or not. I mean, even if you did, how are they supposed to know? So you want to eat in front of them. I tried to go raw a zillion times, but I'm so addicted to vegan junk. Do you have any advice? I'd like to try raw again, but I don't want to fall off another. Okay, you have to start viewing that as not food. You have to train, again, this goes back to the same stuff I say over and over and over again. You guys have to train your minds. Train your minds that this is not food. It's not yours to consume. It's not food. And yes, it's addicting. Okay, I was addicted to Doritos, Chinese food, energy drinks. Like there was no way you could pull me away from those foods. I was so addicted. But you need to get inspired. You need to have reasons why. You need to get up every single morning and tell yourself why you're doing this. And you have to do it. Like, you're the only person that can put in this work. So every single morning when you wake up, tell yourself you're a raw vegan. Tell yourself your food is fresh fruits and vegetables. And make sure that you're eating enough, because that's the number one thing why people go back to the foods that they love, because they're just not getting enough fuel, so their brain defaults to all these foods that they used to know and love, and they end up binging on it and then fall off their raw. So you have to make sure that you're constantly feeding yourself good calories, because when you're raw, it's really difficult. You need to know how much you need to eat. Most people, when they go raw, they don't realize that they have to eat like 2 or 3 or 4 times more than they're used to. And this amount, like, I'll coach people, they'll say, I'm intuitively eating, and but I feel so many cravings and everything. And then when we go through their food journal, they're only eating 800 calories. Because, you know, a big salad really isn't a big salad. We need to eat like a salad for a family of 5. Like, you got to eat a lot of food. And that's why I put dates in my dressings. Like, most of my dressings are date-based, because I need a lot of calories in my dressings because I eat a lot of salads. And that's how I can get by eating so many salads. Like, a lot of people are like, you don't eat as much fruit as some raw vegans do. But I do eat a lot of fruit. They're just in the dressings. The dates are in the dressing. So my dressing's like 500 calories worth of dressing on a 200 calorie salad. I've got a 700 calorie meal right there, and it fills me up really well. So yeah, you really have to work yourself. And don't kick yourself but keep falling off. You're doing good just by eating raw. Like, even if you do like a couple days and fall off, get right back on there and don't kick yourself. Because you may fall again and again and again, but one day you'll get it. One day it'll click, but you have to keep going. And habits are formed only by daily action. So, hope that one helped. Oh, $2.99. That's cheap for a Vitamix. Yeah, I think I paid like $700 for mine. Let's see. Taco wrap recipe. Yep, that's coming. I'm gonna film that in a couple weeks. I have it on my schedule, so you're gonna see a wrap video. That's gonna be awesome. I also have a video coming out, a recipe video for my mushroom marinara on zoodles, which will be great, because that's actually, I've eaten that for like every night for the past week or so, because I'm so addicted to it. That is another thing. You can get addicted to raw foods. Like, you can find these raw food meals that you're just like, oh my god, this is so good, and you can eat it every night, and that's fine because it's raw and it's low fat. Go ahead. Of course we want variety, but if you find a meal that you really like, eat it. That's the whole point. You want to love your food. Canada meetup someday. I would love to do a Canada meetup. That would be sweet. I don't know how we could go about planning it. I think I would like to plan one maybe with Ted Carr, possibly, but I don't know. We'll see about that. I would love to do that. Let's see. Yes, just pick fruit and eat it. Don't see the need for a blender or dehydrator. That's totally cool. Some people can do that. Some people, that's all they want to eat, and that's totally fine. But there are a lot of people who, transitioning off a standard North American diet, have a little issues, and they need, you know, to have the blender or the dehydrator. And I really like it because it can be creative. I am such a creative being. I love to create recipes, and I love making my food pretty and doing different things with it. So I personally love my Vitamix and dehydrator. So It's personal preference. If you just want to eat fruit, that's totally cool too. Whatever you want to do is fine by me. And you're welcome, guys. I know this is a really long, it's only been an hour, so we can keep going. Again, like I said, as long as I have questions, I will keep talking. My issue is I cook really great vegan for my children. I tend to taste here and there. How do I stop peck on their delicious cooked vegan I made for them? Well, again, I cook for my boyfriend. But the thing is that I pick on my food instead of his food. And as much as his food smells good, I just take it for what it is. It's a nice smell. So when I'm making his food, it's like, oh, that smells really good, but I'm eating my cherry tomatoes, or I'm eating my salad. I don't pick at his stuff because I don't need to. And I make it the same for him all the time, so I really don't need to taste test it. And if I really need to taste test it, I get him into the kitchen and I say, hey, you taste these mushrooms? They taste okay? Oh yeah, they're good. Okay, I don't need to add anything. Or he'll be like, hey, can you add a little bit of chipotle to it? I want them spicier or whatever. Then I'll add it for him. But I don't need to taste his stuff. I don't, and I know it's hard when you're cooking and it smells good and everything, but my big tip on that is to make sure you have stuff to snack on. Keep your mouth busy. Eat those cherry tomatoes. I like to slice tomatoes and put raw sauerkraut on them with some black pepper. That's a really good thing to snack on while you're cooking for other people, because it just keeps your mouth busy. Really, that's what you want, right? Day 2 of being raw to heal candida. Candida, yes. Make sure that you do very, 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 very low fat. When again, I'm not a doctor, I have to say that, but when people have candida, or when I had candida, I went no fat for like a couple weeks, and that's what I tell people to try. It's not going to be the end of the world to go no fat for a couple weeks, but if you go no fat, you're going to starve the yeast out, because you will burn the sugar and they don't have a chance to eat it. The problem comes when you're eating high fat and the fat clogs your bloodstream and all the sugar stays in your bloodstream. If it stays in the bloodstream and you're not burning it because the fat's blocking you from being able to burn it, the yeast are going to eat it. So the key is low fat. So go no fat for about 3 weeks and then slowly add it back up to 10% range. Let's see. Celery juice. Yes, really good for electrolytes and sodium. Thank you. Today's the first day being raw vegan. Congratulations, Penny. I've been watching your videos. It's still hard for me to not calorie restrict. It is hard to not calorie restrict when, we're bombarded in society to calorie restrict. It's like the way to lose weight. You have to calorie restrict, blah, blah, blah. But it does take a little bit of time to wrap your mind around the fact that you don't need to, and that we need this energy. Our bodies actually want the fuel. It's because you have to calorie restrict when you're eating the wrong foods. When you're eating the right foods, you don't have to calorie restrict. So calorie restriction only happens if you're eating crappy stuff and cheat days and all of that kind of stuff. You have to calorie restrict because you're eating bad food. But if you're eating really healthy, happy, vibrant stuff, awesome, you don't have to calorie restrict. And you will get used to it. Just keep every single day, tell yourself, I'm a raw vegan, it's okay to eat this much because it's safe. It's okay. As long as you eat low fat, you can eat a lot more calories than you think you can. Let's see. I really want to purchase one of your books, but don't own a dehydrator. Which one would you recommend getting? If you don't own a dehydrator, this is the one I recommend, because most of them are just blender recipes. I do have a couple dehydrator recipes in here, like the, let's see, like these sauces. I have about 4 or 5 of these sauces that do require a dehydrator to get them like this. But there's only a few recipes in this book. There's 117 recipes in here, and only a few of them need a dehydrator. So it's not necessary. You can get a very good benefit from this book, as opposed to, say, my 30-day meal plan, which kind of uses... it doesn't even really use it a lot either. I more use my dehydrator to warm stuff up or form patties, like just to get some of the moisture out, just so they're a little bit more formed. But otherwise, I really don't make a lot of I don't make any crackers. I don't make kale chips or anything like that. I will make wraps because they're more pliable. and they have a little bit of moisture left in them, but it's really rare that I do that. So yeah, but again, if you don't have a dehydrator, this is the best book to get. I don't like mushrooms, but your marinated mushroom makes such a huge difference, and I can eat them now. Yeah, the marinated mushrooms are so good. I have a really quick, like 30-second video on YouTube on how to marinate the mushrooms if you guys want to go check that out. That's in there somewhere. So glad to catch this live stream. Love your videos, Lissa. Thank you. Love you guys so much. Can you, oops. Oh my gosh. Ah! Okay, can you eat too many mushrooms? I mean, because of toxicity. The toxicity isn't a poison. You know, I don't really like using the word toxin because people think that it's gonna kill them. The thing is, like, for example, you can't see it, but on top of my tower garden, I have a poinsettia plant. And I love that you guys care. I posted a picture on Snapchat, and a couple people messaged me, out of caring, which is totally cool, but that the poinsettia is poisonous to cats, and they were worried about chai, which I love, and I'm so grateful for the concern. But the poinsettia plants have been hyped up, and they're saying like, oh, it's poisonous to cats, but it's not actually. It just makes them puke a little bit. Like, it's not toxic. They're not gonna die. So when people in the raw vegan movement say, oh, this food is toxic, or cooked food is poisonous, it's not actually poisonous. It's just not the best thing to eat. So when we talk about the toxins in mushrooms, they're not actually toxins. It's just something in the mushroom that is difficult for the human body to digest. That's really all it is. Marinating it in things like lemon juice can help to break that down. They get really soft and they're a lot easier to digest. Really, it just causes gas and bloating. It's not like it's a toxin where it's going to kill you if you eat them raw for a long time. But marinating them in a sunny spot or in the dehydrator also helps as well. I'm not sure what the temperature is where this toxin is released, but I can't eat raw mushrooms because I get really gassy and bloated. But if I marinate them in lemon juice, coconut aminos, and a couple other things in the dehydrator or in a sunny spot on my counter for a couple of hours, then I can digest them a lot easier. So it really again isn't a toxin per se, and I wish people wouldn't use that word so liberally because it actually scares people away. Like, people say that grains are toxins. They're not actually toxins. They're just not the greatest food to eat, and they can clog you up and they cause your body to produce mucus and all of that. But they're not toxins. A toxin is something that makes you like immediately sick, like belladonna berries. If you eat 5 belladonna berries, you could die. That's a toxin. So yeah, when it comes to that, I wish that people would be a little more lenient on the word of toxin. But yeah, so for mushrooms raw, I'm not too sure which ones you can't eat raw, but I do enoki, I do shiitake, I do black trumpet mushrooms are my favorite, by the way. They are so mushroomy and they're so good in a mushroom soup. I highly recommend black trumpet, but then I eat a lot of cremini and white mushrooms too. Let's see. I am time limited, meaning I work second shift and I'll start school in January full time. Suggestions. Okay, time limited. Smoothies are going to be your best bet. Grabbing fruit, just packing a bunch of fruit in your bags, you know, or if you have time in the evening to chop your stuff for the next day, which is another tip. But smoothies are probably going to be your best bet. And it's not that it's... See, sometimes people feel that they wish they could do more when they have time restrictions, but they're choosing to have those time restrictions with their job or whatever, and they have to do it. Making the raw thing work for you is what you have to do. And it's not that it's an inconvenience to eat raw, it's a blessing to eat raw. And by eating raw, it'll help you with those crazy shifts and those long hours. So even though you might not have enough time, it's actually going to make your work better by eating raw because you're going to feel better. You're not going to be always tired and all of that. So you can make the time. I highly recommend smoothies. Just grabbing fruit is really, really easy. Doing green smoothies at work. And then your one salad if you can. Your date-based dressings are going to be really good for that. Soups. Make soups and take those in a thermos. Like, obviously not hot. hot from the stove, but like you can warm up a soup, put it in a thermos and drink that for lunch. You can always do that. Do my friend Rebecca, Texas Fruitarian, you guys should follow her too because she's awesome. She calls them saloops. She has a salad that she just throws in the blender and makes a soup out of it. So instead of chewing it, she just drinks it. And that's a really great way of doing things if you have no time. Let's see. I like to snack on dried goji berries and mulberries. What do you think about those? I don't like very much dried fruit. The only dried fruit that I will eat will be dried mango and sometimes dried bananas if I'm traveling. They're really good, high-packed sources of calories, but I don't snack on them. I mean, they're better than snacking on dried fruit. Dried nuts, sorry. Dried fruit is a much better option, but they're dehydrated. So you have to find the water somehow to digest them. And that's the only downside to doing the dried fruit, is that they are going to pull water from your colon to help digest. Even if you drink water with them, it's not the same as having a raw mango or raw goji berries or raw mulberries. It's not the same. And as I mentioned before, the people who ate the raw cucumber were twice as hydrated as the people who just drank the water, the same amount of water. So there is something magical with the water content of fresh raw foods. I don't recommend doing dried fruit, but if you're traveling and you need something right away, I do. And if you like it and it's not causing any issues, then you might be okay, but make sure that you get enough water because those are actually sucking up a lot of water in your colon and in your cells. So just watch for that. That's what I would say for that. Thanks for this. It's about community, and this helps a lot. It does. It does help a lot. I'm so glad you guys are all here hanging out. This is so great to have you here and to talk about everything. Let's see what else. Sorry, I'm like trying to read at the same time. I know you use Chronometer a lot, but how reliable do you think it is? You know, none of them are going to be exact. Obviously, like some oranges are going to be huge and some oranges are going to be small. So I just take it with a grain of salt. I calculate my stuff, and if it seems okay, it's okay. If I feel great that day, it's perfect. And when I get blood tests, if I need to adjust anything, then I can do that as well. It's just a guide. It's there to help you to understand how much food you need. Because I know a head of lettuce that I have might not be a head of lettuce in Chronometer. So, I mean, 6 sun-dried tomatoes for me might not be 6 sun-dried tomatoes for you. So it can be very, very different, and it varies quite... what's the word I'm looking for? It just varies. So I would say just use it as a tool to learn what foods have certain things. Like if you're missing calcium, add more tahini and bok choy or sea vegetables. If you're missing iron, add more spinach and dark leafy greens. And you can adjust it based on that, but it's just a tool to help you learn about nutrition and how much food you need to eat, how many calories you need to get, what your fat percentage is. It's just a guide. So I really don't use it very much anymore. I really only use it for my YouTube videos for you guys so that you can see what I'm eating, because I've been doing this for 3 years. I just know what I need in a day to get everything, and when I do check, I'll be like, oh, I really didn't eat a lot of calcium today, so tomorrow I'll eat more bok choy, or I'll go buy some bok choy or something just to balance it out. But it's nice to check every once in a while to make sure, and again, just a guide. Why don't you show on your Chronometer the whole list of the products that you ate, just the nutrition? The list would help much more. I could do that. It's hard on my phone to set that up because I don't know, it's really hard to explain how, I mean, I could do it, but it extends the video and it shows everything, but I show everything that I eat for the day. So you can always watch everything that I ate and what I just enter, like if I had like a whole head of lettuce, that's what I put in Chronometer. So you can see what I actually eat. But yeah, I could do it. I just don't know how I could set it up. I'd have to play with that in iMovie. If it's okay, can you share how did your relationship with your ex affect your food addiction? I had lots of issues, not from food. There was some other stuff that I'm not going to share, but I think that I was trying to fill a void in my life, and there were some things in my life that weren't going the way I'd hoped they would have gone. Some things that I was very disappointed in my own self. Actually, it was probably most part was I was disappointed in myself, and I felt like I wasn't good enough for anything, and that was causing me to eat a lot and feel like I was filling that void because I wasn't getting, I wasn't feeling like I was good enough for really anything, so I would fill it with food, and I just became, you know, you become addicted because there's chemicals in the food that addict you too. It's not just mental, it's the chemicals too. And yeah, and I started drinking a lot of alcohol during the day, and I'd hide it from my ex. And it's not that my ex was a bad person. He's great. We just don't work anymore, so we ended. But I don't know. I was raw for a year and a half before we actually split, and I'm sure raw had some kind of play in it, but I don't feel like it really did. I was just growing and improving myself and finding who I was and believing that I am good enough. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that went into play with that, and I think it was all in my own mind. The food addiction really is you, and the people around you can do all sorts of kinds of things to you, but you're the one that lets it affect you. You're the one that grabs the bag of chips and eats it. You're the one who uses it to deal with situations. And because I don't have chips and pop and Red Bulls and all this kind of stuff to numb my pain, if something stressful happens in my life, I have to actually feel it, which is a blessing because we're here to feel and we're here to live through the good and the bad. So when I have bad emotions or experiences, I have to sit back and just say, okay, and let myself feel sad and let myself feel angry, and then figure out how I can fix the situation. You know, communicate with the person I'm having maybe a conflict with, communicate with myself about what's going on and deal with it that way instead of numbing myself with food. So yeah, the whole relationship with my ex, I mean, he was great and everything, it just didn't work. So I like to watch more videos of you. I'm gonna have lots more coming. Again, Vlogmas. I'm gonna release this video onto YouTube so you guys can watch it, and I'm also going to release my first Vlogmas video as soon as we're done. Let's see what's next. Oh, every time I fall, Lissa there to catch me. Aw, that's lovely. Thank you. I love that I can be, like, seriously, guys, I have no words to describe how grateful I am to all of you. Like, my followers, my fans, you guys are everything. And you guys motivate me to stay raw. And not that I have a hard time staying raw, I probably would anyways, but I think about you guys all the time and what would be a good post to post for you. Can I reach somebody today? Can I help change someone's life today? Can I do something amazing for this planet? I mean, like, every person that eats a raw meal because of me, we both, me and the person who's eaten raw, have saved animals' lives. We've helped decrease our impact on the planet. And that means the absolute world to me. You guys mean so much to me, and I wouldn't be able to do this without your guys' support. Watching my videos, purchasing my books, you know, following and commenting and liking all my stuff and everything. Really, you guys, I have no words. You're awesome. Let's see here. Telling don't beat yourself up if you fall back is already the best thing to hear. Yeah, it is, really. I mean, you can fall, but the only reason, or the only time that you actually literally fail is when you stop getting back up. So get back up and keep going, because that's not a fail. That just means you've learned something, and hopefully you have. If you've fallen, figure out why you fell, what triggered you to fall, what you could do different next time, and just get up and go for it again. And keep trying, because it's better than falling back and staying there, right? Like, you don't want to fall back and stay and get, you know, gain more weight and have heart disease and all this other kind of stuff. if you fall, it's fine. Just get back up and keep going and make better choices and be better than you were the day before. Do you know of a good app so I can keep track of my calories? My best app would be Chronometer. That's the one I was just talking about. Chronometer.com. CRONO meter.com. You can get the app for that, is what I use personally. But I've also heard a lot of people like MyFitnessPal. That's the other one, and I'm not sure of too many others. If you guys have any suggestions, throw them in the chat for Stacy. Is he vegan too? My ex or my boyfriend? Well, my ex was vegan with me, but after we split up, he was no longer vegan. So he was really just vegan because I was vegan, which kind of makes me sad because he did say that he was vegan for animals, but then he wasn't. So I'm not going to really continue on with that story. But my current boyfriend is not a vegan. However, there are no animal products in my house. So when he's here, it's vegan everything, and he eats everything I make for him is vegan. If he wants to eat other things, he eats other things. I don't judge him because he's doing better than he would be without me in his life. I know a lot of people think that I should be with a vegan, and the thing is that we can't discount people who are still on their journey. We can't just throw them away. We have to love them, and we have to, you know, bring them in and love them into a healthier lifestyle. We can't just say, oh, I don't want to hang out with you because you're not a vegan. We have to really be conscious of that. And I mean, I'm not going to throw away something awesome just because he's not vegan. And when I think about it too, I mean, we've been together for over a year and a bit now. How many animals have I saved in the last year just by making him vegan burgers every night? So I feel like I'm doing more of a service to him and the animals by like being with him. So that's a bonus too. But yeah, maybe one day. It'd be nice. But it's not essential. Keep your mouth busy while cooking is a great idea. Yes, very good idea. It helps a lot. Thank you for taking the time to live stream. You're very welcome. I love live streams. I'm going to do a lot more coming in 2018 for sure. At least I'm going to try to do at least one a month because I really enjoy doing these and talking with you guys directly. It's almost like it's like this like live coaching session. It's pretty awesome. It's such a delight to watch you online. Inspirational as always. One question, just what do you think about impact of low-fat vegan food on women's periods? Okay, that's a good question. I don't believe, there are two things to this one, and I'll try to go fast, but I don't believe that it is low fat that is causing imbalances. And number two, what was my train of thought? Well, first off, I don't think that it's low fat that is causing this. Oh yeah, the two is the ratio of fats. If you are eating 1,200 calories in a day, you're calorie restricting. If you're eating 1,200 calories, 10% of those calories is 120 calories from fats, which is only 13 grams of fat. Not a lot. That's like not even half an avocado. It's like a third of an avocado. And that's all day. That's not including what's in your greens, what's in your seeds, what's in your fruit. That's it for fats if you're eating 1,200 calories. So you can see how 10% at 1,200 calories is not a lot. But if you're eating 2,400 calories or 2,700 calories, then 10% is 240 to 270 calories from fats, which is 26 to 30 some grams of fat. You can get away with a lot more fat, but you're still eating 10%. So it's not the amount of fat that you're eating, it's the amount of calories that you're eating. I see countless people losing their periods on high, healthy fat, calorie restrictive diets. It's not the fat, it's the calorie restriction that is causing women, in my opinion, to lose their menstrual cycle. They're just not eating enough. And I have never lost my period. I've had a period every single month for the last 3 years, and I eat very low fat. I do best at 7 or 8%, but most days hover around the 10 to 12% fat. some days are high up to 20. It depends. Like on my birthday, I'm probably gonna have some pie, some cashew pie. But again, it's a small piece, and I'll probably be around 20%. But I'm gonna do no fat for breakfast and medium fat for lunch, hopefully, and then I can have my pie for dinner. But or dessert. But yeah, I don't think that it is the fat per se. I do believe we need fats, but again, in the 10-15% range is all we need. We just need to eat more calories so we can get more fats. That's my point for that. Hope that answered that question. I know you've made at least a couple of videos on this topic, but as an update, since you always look flawless, how is your skin now in terms of scars from years ago? Good question. I still have scars, and I can you see? Just like darker patches. I don't know if you can really see. I have darker patches. I am wearing light powder and some blush. I really don't use a ton of makeup. Like, again, I use powder. I use Jane Iredale powders and blushes. But I do have dark spots. I do have stuff from the scars, and I don't like them, but they're there. And I'm trying, like, I'll put lemon juice on them if I'm going to be out in the sun to try and help lighten them. But they are definitely better, that's for sure. They're better than they were, but again, I still see them, and we always see our flaws, so not that I care. I just wish they'd go away. I'm fine with them. I'd be better without. But I love myself anyways, so yeah, but they are there, and they kind of remind me of where I don't want to go back to. So every time I see them, I'm like, I'm glad I'm raw, so I don't have more of these. And I do still break out every once in a while. Like if I don't take my makeup off, I will break out. If I do have a very high-fat day, I do tend to break out the next day, but it's like 1 or 2. And they only stick around for like a day or 2, and then they heal up really quickly. Like I heal so fast, especially since I've been adding turmeric to my diet. I eat turmeric pretty much every single day now. I throw a chunk in my either in my dressing or in my smoothie in the morning. Just a little thin chunk, like the size of a quarter. I'll just throw it into whatever. But I find that turmeric is really speeding healing, which is really nice to do as well. So I hope that answered your question. Did Banana Island for 3 weeks. It felt awesome. Love bananas. I love bananas too. I don't love them, but I love them. I prefer, I think my favorite fruit would be nectarines and mangoes and pineapples. Those are my 3 favorites. Bananas are there too, but I really just eat bananas because they're easy and cheap. And I do like them. Sometimes I get some crappy bananas, and sometimes I get some really good bananas, but I've actually never done Banana Island, so maybe one day, but I don't feel like I need to do an island because I live on an island. I live on my raw island, so I drink bottled ice mountain water every day, but my tongue always feels dry afterwards. I try to drink at least 5 a day. I don't know if they're really poisoning us slowly. Well, I mean, bottled water, you've got the chemicals from the bottle leaching into your water. I recommend drinking purified water in glass. That's what I do for the most part. I do drink bottled water once in a while, but I drink all my water, my filtered water, in a glass mason jar. And you know what, I would, Stacy, probably see what else you're eating that could be causing that, even though you're drinking the water. If it's causing you to feel dry after, it could be maybe if you're doing too many dried foods, that could be as well, or high salt, possibly. I don't know if you are or not, but yeah, I would try to maybe invest in like a water purifier and use glass mason jars to avoid the plastic. I mean, yeah, I'm not a fan of plastic in general. Love these videos. I have lost 35 pounds since I started watching. Oh, yay, congratulations. I'm so happy to hear that. And oh, I'm so glad I can share with you guys. If I eat raw, I know my tongue won't feel so dry. I'll go grab a juicy apple, and wow, I feel hydrated again. Yes, yes, you need to eat the thing is that raw, nothing compares to the hydration in raw food. You can drink all the water you want, but as soon as you go raw, it's almost like you lose thirsty. Like, I rarely get actually thirsty. Unless, like, right now I've been talking for, like, an hour and a half. So, I'm getting a little bit like I need something. But, for the most part, I'm rarely ever thirsty unless I'm running a long distances or it's a really hot day. Then I tend to get thirsty because I'm sweating a lot. But for the most part, I'm rarely thirsty. And I used to be so thirsty all the time. But it was because I was eating dried foods and high salt. Yeah, so what do you do when your boyfriend wants you to cook meat? Doesn't happen. No way, man. I will not cook meat. I will not cook animal products. If he wants it, he's gotta cook it. And he doesn't do it at home because he respects my, like, it stinks. I don't want to smell it. And he knows that. I mean, he'll order, like, takeout and stuff and he eats it. But to me, takeout smells like like a fast food I don't know how to explain it to you guys. When I go to the mall, it smells like the mall. It doesn't smell like a food court. And I've trained myself to think that. So when he does eat fast food, it just smells like my childhood, I guess. And I don't connect it with food. I don't think I want to eat it. But he does eat fast food once in a while. But I refuse. I actually told him before we actually started going out, I said, just so you know, there is absolutely no way ever that you'll ever get me to eat animal products or cooked food, so don't even bother trying. And he hasn't tried, so yeah. We met at the UK Fruit Fest. Big hugs to you, Rachel. Oh yeah, I really love the UK Fruit Fest. If you guys can ever make it to a fruit festival, I highly recommend going. I am going to be at the Woodstock Fruit Festival this year. I'm going to put in the description box, Woodstock, code. If you guys want to come to Woodstock and see me, my code is romance, and that gets you $100 off. If you've never been to the festival before and you want to come, you can get $100 off by using my code romance. I put it in the description below. So I'm gonna be at Woodstock this year. For my first year at Woodstock, I went to the UK festival and I was so it's just you're there with like minds, and you're there with people who are eating the same way, and it's just such a beautiful place to be. And I want to go to Woodstock this year, so I will be there, and hopefully I can be at UK again this summer. We'll see if I can make it to that one as well, but I would love to go back to the UK for sure and stay. Let's see. I lost my period for 3 years on a low-calorie diet, and when I switched to raw vegan after 6 months, my period came back. Awesome! I love hearing that. That is exactly it. It really is your calorie intake. If you're not eating enough, again, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the first things to shut down are your metabolism and your hormones. So if you're not eating enough, your body's going to be like, okay, I need to conserve as much energy as possible because you're not giving me any energy. So I'm going to shut down my metabolism. You're going to get cold and you're going to gain weight easily. And then you're going to shut down your hormones. So you're going to lose your libido and you're going to lose your period. These are two of the main things that your body shuts down when you're not eating enough. So you have to get those calories up and you have to eat more. And a lot of people will notice like they start to feel more warm. Their limbs and their thyroid and everything kind of just wakes up when they start eating more food. We have to eat food. It's our body, like it's how we run. We need it. It's necessary. And calorie restricting, again, you only calorie restrict because you're eating the wrong foods. You don't need to calorie restrict when you're eating the proper stuff. Turmeric is magic. Definitely. I love turmeric. The reason why I started adding it because I was reading Dr. Michael Greger's book, How Not to Die. And he mentioned in there that if there was one food on the planet that he would recommend for people to eat every single day, it would be turmeric. So I was like, all right, it's easy to find turmeric. So I grabbed a whole bunch and I have eaten turmeric every single day since. And I don't really notice that it's in my stuff, but sometimes I'll add extra when I'm making a curry. And add black pepper with your turmeric because it helps to absorb the curcumin in it. Let's see, drink lots of water, mostly plant-based, mostly raw. I still struggle with bloating. It could be bloating. I do have a video on bloating and gas when you are a raw vegan. It can be unripe fruit. That can be a big one, and we don't always know if it's ripe or not. Bananas are easy to tell, but some things kind of aren't really easy to know if they're ripe or not. Like sometimes you can eat unripe tomatoes and not really know, they're just more acidic. And the softer they get, the more squishy they get, the easier they are to digest. So we always have to make sure that our fruit is ripe so that you are able to digest it properly. That's one of the big things. Eating too fast, that can cause gas and bloating. Sitting at a desk for long periods of time, that can cause water retention, bloating. And yeah, salt definitely is one of those too. So I don't know. I would really have to know what you're eating exactly to be able to kind of pinpoint what that could be. Do you mind questions not pertaining to raw vegan lifestyle, like some of your hobbies are? Yeah, you guys can ask me anything. I would love to talk about what I like to do. I love photography. Photography is one of my deep passions, but I'm also an artist and I paint. Let me just grab something for you guys. This is a painting, and I showed this on my last YouTube live. Oh, let me just back up here. Woo, it's huge. It's Lord of the Rings, and it's a painting that I did in 2003. Oh my god, that was like 100 years ago. Anyways, this is the painting, and it's massive. But I am an artist, and I love to paint. I'm sure you guys have seen, if you were on my Instagram, you saw my Halloween costume, which was a coloring book. And I drew all of those designs on there. And I'm actually thinking of creating a vegan coloring book called Friends and Food, and doing animals with the designs and calling them friends, and then food, so like silhouettes of pears and pineapples and bananas and things like that, and that would be the food, so people can see. Because I know a lot of people who maybe are vegan or vegetarian, who don't really understand the complete concept of it, who are just mainly doing it for health, but they think that fish is still okay on a vegetarian or vegan diet, or that I can still have cheese. Like, they don't really understand that this is not food for me. So yeah, I want to make a coloring book. I want to paint more. I have a painting that I'm going to start really soon. If you guys want to follow my art, I do have another Instagram for my art. It's called Ivory Blush Art. I'm going to add that to the description as well so you guys can see that. My art. I just started it because I want to share my art, but I don't want to bombard my Instagram with a whole bunch of works in progress, so I made a separate Instagram for my art specifically, so I'm going to be sharing that. I do lots of pencil drawings. My other hobbies, I love hiking, skating. I used to be a figure skater when I was really little. I used to play the violin and the piano. What else? I really like playing Pokemon Go. I know that's, yeah, it was just something that I like to do. I like to play video games with my boyfriend in our downtime. I like Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead. I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Family Guy. I like that regular stuff too. So yeah, lots of Netflix. But I don't watch too much Netflix, just enough to, you know, I'm eating my dinner. It takes like an hour and a half, so I can get through a good 1 or 2 shows. I really like watching Survivor too. Those are a couple things. I love cats. I love dogs. I love all animals. I want to one day rescue maybe a husky dog. I'd love to rescue one. And I want to one day own a fruit farm in BC, Canada. Would love to own a nectarine farm. So yeah, that's a couple little things about me. Do you have any tips for stretch marks? The stretch marks do lighten when you're raw, but they don't, I mean, they can go away, but mine haven't yet. I have stretch marks from when I gained the weight, not when I lost the weight, because when I gained the weight, they appeared, and when I lost the weight, they were the same. So, but now they are, I don't really notice them a lot, but they're still there. I would say make sure to hydrate, 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 and you can use like vitamin E capsules on your stretch marks, but otherwise, those are the ones that kind of stick around for a long time. So, but cellulite is another story. Cellulite you can get rid of. I pretty much got rid of mine just by eating raw. It's the hydration, it's the detoxifying effect that the raw diet has on our bodies. I bought all your books, but lack the self-discipline to use them. I would recommend probably trying to make a game with yourself. Try to make a recipe every day from my book or something. Try to do at least one meal a day, and then, you know, get going on them and try and do new things. And remember, just don't be so hard on yourself. Do them, use them, make some good food, and enjoy some good tasty stuff, because there's some really good tasting things in there. How is your growing wall working for you? That's my tower garden. He's a little not so growing because I pulled out a bunch of the lettuce, I guess here and here. It's opposite, guys, it's not a mirror. So, but I pulled out some lettuce, and I know it looks like they're dying, but they're not. They're just, it's mustard greens and arugula, and they kind of, but they're healthy and growing awesome. I like growing my mustard greens in there because I'll pick them off and add them to my raw sushi. But at the top, actually I could probably lift this up. Can you see? At the top, I have basil growing all around the top, and I actually replanted basil on the bottom because my boyfriend eats a lot of vegan pesto on pasta, so I make him a lot of basil-based stuff. And I use a lot of basil in my breakfast drizzles. If I do a fruit bowl and I put a drizzle on there, I throw a handful of basil into my drizzle. So we both eat a lot of basil, and it gets expensive when you're buying little packages for $4 and the whole thing's gone in one meal. So I found that it's actually better for me to grow a lot of basil in here because it's actually saving us money by doing that. And they grow like weeds, so yeah. Going to Woodstock too? Yeah! Let's go to Woodstock, guys. And sorry you're late. That's okay. I'm probably going to be on for, I probably another 20 minutes or so, I guess. I mean, I'll do another 2-hour one. I don't mind talking to you guys, really. I could talk about this stuff forever. I'm not going to Woodstock this year, but I did suggest you be a speaker on the survey from last year. Well, thank you, darling. I know Anne Osborne, we were speakers together at the UK Fruit Festival, so she knows that I do speaking and stuff like that. So possibly, maybe in 2019, I would love to be a speaker. But I honestly don't mind not being a speaker because this will be my very first Woodstock festival, and I kind of just want to hang out with people, get to know you guys, and, you know, just chill and not have to be, like, in a way working. Even though it's not work to me, I would rather just kind of like chill and really experience the festival for what it is, and then next year go back as a speaker if I can be that, because I'd love to be a speaker. But yeah, okay, let's see here. I can't eat more than 1,500 calories in a day. Most days I have 20% fat. I can't eat more. What should I do? What would be your reason why you can't eat more fat, or I mean more calories? Is it your height? Is it you're sedentary? Is it you just can't eat enough? Because I would recommend eating more often to get more calories in. Like, even if you're not really feeling hungry, just grab a banana and eat it, because you can just do that quite easily throughout the day. And if you got 4 bananas, you've increased your calories to 1,900, which would be great. And it's only 4 bananas, and you can kind of sneak those in here and there throughout the day. Add an extra date or two to your dressings. You know, add an extra cup to your salads. And if you can't finish your salad, just set it aside for about 20 or 30 minutes and then get back to it. Because when you eat a lot of food, that volume goes in your stomach. So it's going to take a little while for that to low and move through your colon. But after about a half an hour or so, you have more room and you can get back to your salad. So that's how I end up eating my big salads. I just take a break and then eat the rest after. But really looking forward to the second part of your 30-day meal plan. When can we expect it? I really can't wait to work on that. The next book that I'm going to release actually will be my journey book. I have my food journals from the first year that I was a raw vegan, and I have a lot written down about my struggles and things I noticed and stuff that went down and things I learned, and I'm going to put that all into a book. It's kind of going to be like an autobiography of my first year raw. So you guys are really going to get to know what happened in the beginning, what I felt, things I experienced, social situations that kind of didn't work very well, and that I, and then there was a point in time where I actually tried cooked food, and I talk about my experience eating cooked food. I've only had 3 cooked meals in 3 years, and they were all right at the beginning, like 3 months in. So yeah, I talk about my experience there, and then throughout the year. But I'm going to be sharing those journal entries with what I learned, and then I'm going to add at the bottom what I know now and today, and what I would do differently had I known what I know now, and to help you guys get a perspective of what I could have done versus what I did do, what I should have done, what I would do differently today. So I hope that helps. And then after I release that journey book, then I'm doing meal plan part 2, because that one is on my list. I've got a lot of good cool recipes. I've got California rolls, I've got French onion soup, I have a tomato onion stew, raw stew that I'm going to add in there. So lots of really cool stuff coming for you guys. Let's see. Great idea for the coloring book. I know, yeah, it's really relaxing for me to draw the coloring book pages. And I'm going to start sharing those as I create them on my Ivory Blush Art Instagram page. And thank you guys for loving my painting. Have I ever sold any of my paintings? I have sold a few pieces, but nothing solid. But again, more of my future stuff that I want to do, I want to actually start painting animals. I have a photograph that I'm going to paint of a baby sheep with a baby goat, and they're kind of nuzzling each other. I'm going to paint that, and I'm going to actually sell prints, so you guys can buy them if you want. I don't know if I'll be able to part with the original, but I'll definitely be selling prints, and proceeds, some of the proceeds from those sales will go to animal sanctuaries, like farm sanctuaries, vegan activism, and that kind of stuff. So some of the proceeds from those paintings will go towards that. That's my goal. But I really want to create more art and share with the world, because I'm an artist and I need to share. Wish I was gifted like you. You're gifted. You're gifted too, in a different way. So we all have our gifts. Pokemon Go. Have I seen Orville? No, I haven't. But I have 241 Pokemon in my Pokedex. I'm just missing a couple. Yeah, I know, it's so funny to talk about that because I'm 38. So, but it's fun. I really like it. It's actually how my boyfriend and I met. We were both playing Pokemon, and we were at a Pokestop together, and we kind of like thought each other were cute. So we ended up exchanging Snapchats, and then that's how we started dating. We were playing Pokemon, so it's kind of a little bit special to me as well, not just because it's fun. And thank you for inspiring us. You're very welcome. My pleasure. I absolutely love inspiring you guys. Before you have to leave, any favorite movies besides Lord of the Rings? Movies. Anything Disney, anything Pixar. I love any romantic comedy, any superhero movie. I love all the Marvel and DC stuff. Let's see. I like anime. I like everything. I say some of my favorite movies from my past that I kind of cling to are the typical, like Dirty Dancing. I really like Notting Hill and Ever After. Shawshank Redemption. Again, all of the Marvel movies. But yeah, those would probably be some of my favorites. I mean, I probably have 100 more, but I just can't really think of them right now. I love dates, but don't you hate having to search those little dead worms? I actually, honestly, have never seen a little dead worm and picked it out of a date. I really haven't. I know I've seen some people posting pictures and stuff. I have had the random date in the last 3 years, probably 10 out of the like billions of dates that I eat that have had like a black mold on the inside. But I've never seen a worm, so now I'm scared. Or just like, what the heck, more protein? Yeah, I've never actually seen one, so I mean, but gorillas and apes and chimps, they eat insects. Not that I want to eat insects, but they eat insects, so I mean, I don't want to eat a bug because they're vegan. I normally throw them outside. If I see any bugs or like little worms on, I see little green worms sometimes in my broccoli, and I'll save them and I'll put them outside on a plant or something. But yeah, I try not to wash them down the drain because I mean, they deserve to live too, right? The book sounds awesome. I can't wait for the books. Yeah, I really love creating, and I love creating for you guys. I want to try and make the journey book as inexpensive as possible. I try to make my books as inexpensive as possible. Unfortunately, this one is expensive because it's 212 pages and it's full color, so it is expensive. I wish it wasn't, but it is what it is. The journey book I want to make as cheap as possible. I'm going to actually make it black and white paperback style, so it should only be like maybe 20 bucks, hopefully, but we'll see what it ends up being. Let's see here. Did you lose skin from your weight loss? Or did you get loose skin from your weight loss? No and yes. My skin isn't as tight as it would be if I was 20, but it's not loose from my weight loss. So it is tighter than if I lost my weight fast. The faster you lose weight, the more loose skin you have, because it takes time for your skin to catch up with your weight loss. That's why they say the best weight loss is like a pound a week, because your skin can actually keep up. And for some people, it can take like a year or two after for your skin to even tighten up more. Another thing to do with skin is to work out and build those muscles. I haven't worked out very much in the last forever, and I can tell that my muscles aren't as tight as they used to be because I'm not working out. So I need to start working out. And when I do start working out, I do notice my skin start to tighten up, but then I don't work out for like 2 months and I lose it. So it really is, the muscle underneath can help to tighten and to bring more illusion of tighter skin. So yeah, but the slower weight loss, definitely. If you did a Marvel painting and shared it, I'd die. That's a good idea. I should actually. I would love to do that. I really haven't had very much time lately because I want to start my animal paintings and I want to do more art. I really, really do. It's such a huge passion. I need to find more time. I'm spending so much time on photography and digital design for, you know, my day job, and making YouTube videos for all you guys, which is definitely not work for me. I love doing it. But yeah, I've just had so much going on and I want to start painting. Well, there's a couple of questions left, and then we're gonna have to go. Do you have any tips on how to eat raw when you have family to feed? Share raw with them. Make your salad, make extra and share it with them. You can add like your salad to their, because you want them to eat healthy too, right? If you want, make them less cooked and have them eat some of your raw food, so that they kind of get the best of both worlds if they need to. And then plus you're cooking a little less for them and you're just making a bigger salad and sharing it with them. That's good too. Yeah, you know what? You have to also focus on doing this for you. You're not doing this for anybody else but yourself. So focusing on the fact that your meal isn't an inconvenience, their meal isn't an inconvenience. You're gonna cook for them anyways, but you're doing this for yourself, and changing your mindset around that really can help with you dealing through having to feed your family something totally different. Just taking that extra time, but sharing with them is like the easiest way to do it, because you can make double salad and just share it with everybody, and then you have your salad and everyone else is eating the salad too, and it's a lot easier to deal with. And then also they're eating less cooked food as well, which is a bonus. This has been so much fun. I hope you have a great weekend, Lissa. I hope you do too. So happy, you guys. I'll be back on another YouTube live probably in a couple weeks. maybe before Christmas. If not, we will do maybe January, the first week of January. We can do like a New Year's kind of thing if you want. Need to cut the teaspoon of olive oil from my dressings? Yes. Oh, I know, oil vinaigrette. You know what? I'm just going to tell a story about oil, and you will change with time. When you release it from your life, you will change. When I went raw, I was raw for probably, I'm gonna guess 5 months. I don't remember exactly when it was, but my mom made a salad. I went over to her house and she had made me a salad. And she wasn't raw, she wasn't vegan, but she'd made a really healthy salad for me, and she made a raw vinaigrette with cold pressed olive oil. And I was eating the salad, and it wasn't like she put a lot of dressing on it, but it was so, oh, the oil all over my lips and like the texture. And normally the old me would have loved it, but the new me was just kind of like, it's kind of oily and gross, and I wasn't really a fan of the oil. I would prefer to have my, you know, my non-oily dressings, but it does take time to get used to that. I would say my French dressing or any of like the Italian one and the sun-dried tomato one are not close, but they're pretty good. This is the Italian one. It's just herbs with a date-based dressing. This one's really, really good if you like the vinaigrette style. Might be able to help you, and it's fat-free. So, yeah. Tony, I remember you. Hello. Yes. Big hugs from me. What's the name of the brand of dates you buy? Oh, let me grab my dates. These are the dates I buy. This is my new container that I'm just gonna open for lunch. So yeah, Bard Valley. This is about $12.99. It'll last me about a week and a bit, maybe less. Well, about a week, I would say. It's probably the only really expensive thing that I buy aside from coconut aminos. Those are the only two really expensive stuff I get. Everything else is like super cheap because I can get 6 heads of lettuce for like $5. Bananas are, give or take, they're about 40 cents each, so they're pretty cheap too. So yeah. Let's see. What else? You guys talking about dates? I've heard 7 Hot Dates is a good place to get dates from too. But these are huge and they're really, really soft. I like these dates the best. I have gotten cheaper dates. Like one time my boyfriend went to Walmart and he bought me some dates, and they were hard. They still were good, but I don't know. I prefer the Medjool ones because they're super big, much more hydrating. Let's see. We'll just finish up here. So if you guys have any last minute questions really quick, it's been 2 hours. And I said I would only be an hour, but I love talking to you guys, so I don't mind at all. But yeah, that's it for questions. So I hope you guys enjoyed this YouTube live, and as soon as this is ready to go, I will put it up on YouTube, so anybody who's missed any of it can go back and watch the entire 2 hours. It's like a movie. I honestly really appreciate you guys watching this and tuning in. Let's see, what else did I want to say? So I am going to be releasing my very first Vlogmas video as soon as we're done this, so watch on Instagram, watch on YouTube for that, and yeah, so you guys are so welcome. I love you. Yeah, the time does fly pretty fast when you're talking about stuff you love, right? So I'm gonna sign off now, guys, so watch for that new video coming up soon, and watch for this one, and so much good stuff coming in the future. I love you guys so much. Big hugs. Enjoy your fruit. And until the next YouTube live, you all know what to say. Fruit on.